And for more on this story, we're joined by Rex Lee, a professor of international relations at King's College London and a leading expert on Chinese foreign policy and Asia-Pacific security. Thanks so much for being with us on France 24. So China has reacted with fury to this news. Does this push Taiwan and China closer to an armed conflict?
Well, in the short term, this will not lead to a major conflict, but it has certainly increased the tension between China and the United States. It has also increased the tension between China and Taiwan. I mean, essentially, the arms package is designed to help Taiwan boost its defense capability significantly in the face of increasing military pressure from China. So we need to watch this very carefully.
Now, as I understand this, the weapons package includes long-range missiles. So these aren't just defensive weapons we're talking about, but weapons that could be used to strike China. So how significant is that, and how does China view this?
Well, it is very significant. In terms of military balance, there's no doubt that China has superior military power over Taiwan. However, all these weapons, while smaller, actually rather mobile, and they could be effective in a conflict over Taiwan. Between China, it would be helpful for Taiwan in this asymmetric warfare with China. So I think in that sense, it can be very significant. As we can see, smaller weapons could be effective on the battlefield. Exactly what happened in the Ukraine.
So what does this say about American foreign policy with regard to Taiwan? We've seen Donald Trump eager to cut trade deals with China, and so many had feared that he would abandon support for Taiwan. Does this move indicate otherwise?
Yes. President Trump has been rather ambiguous in terms of promising to defend Taiwan, unlike the previous administration, the Biden administration. And in a way, China has been hoping that the Trump administrations will not defend Taiwan. So this package, therefore, will increase tension. And China is seeing this as a provocation, seeing this as a U.S. move to use Taiwan to contain China, to prevent China from rising economically and militarily. But in a longer term, it would not affect U.S.-China relations as such, because both countries realize, I think, that they need to work with each other to deal with a whole range of international issues.
Well, exactly. And Donald Trump is scheduled to meet with President Xi of China in April. Do you think that Trump could use this issue of selling arms to Taiwan as a bargaining chip as he tries to negotiate deals with China?
Yes. I think that's exactly what is in the mind of President Trump, I think, and because Taiwan is central to Chinese national thinking, and is so important to Chinese leaders. So it could be used. It could be used in negotiations with China, in terms of trade negotiations, and in other areas as well. So it is not accidental that the arms sale package is announced now.
So President Xi has ordered the Chinese military to be ready for an invasion of Taiwan by 2027. Of course, that doesn't mean it will definitely happen, but from your standpoint, how likely is it that China will invade Taiwan, let's say, in the next 5 years?
Well, I think it is unlikely that China would take military actions against Taiwan in the next few years. But that is not to say that China will not do this under any circumstances, depending on the situation. Even though China is not well prepared, it would still take actions if the Chinese leadership feels that there's no other options but to do this.
We were talking about Donald Trump's response to this. I recall that during Joe Biden's presidency, he indicated that he would come to Taiwan's defense if it was invaded by China. Trump has not said the same. How do you think this White House would react if China, in fact, invaded?
Well, if China does invade Taiwan, then I think we would need to look at the circumstances and under what circumstances did this happen. Now, I would say that the Trump administration would be rather reluctant to intervene in a conflict across the Taiwan Strait directly. But of course, President Trump, as we know, could be rather unpredictable, and in fact, he's not saying too much on Taiwan and how he would react to Chinese military actions. So I think we have to wait and see. Yeah.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you quickly about Taiwan. Taiwan is committed to a massive $40 billion supplementary defense budget. Is this something Taiwan can afford, and is this level of spending sustainable for its economy?
Yeah, yes. I mean, it would be difficult. It would be difficult for the Taiwanese government. But I think the Taiwanese government, is committed to this because it feels that without sufficient self-defense capability, it would become very vulnerable. And of course, and also because of the unpredictability of how the Trump administration might react to Chinese actions, it would be in the interest of Taiwan's government and the Taiwan's people to build up its military capabilities in the event of a Chinese invasion.